Hi guys, this is the last video of 2021 and in this video we will talk about my favorite English films of the year. The problem with English films is that not many release in India, especially during the times we live in now. So you have no option but to wait for them to be released in any of these streaming services. Many times it doesn't get released there until the Oscars are announced. So this year movies like Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch or Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza just weren't released. So making the best English films of the year video becomes slightly tricky because you're limited to the movies that have been released in India. So anyway, here is the list of my top 5 English films of the year, the ones that I've got the opportunity to watch. Number 5 is Last Night at Soho. To categorize this film as a horror film might not be appropriate. Yes, there are some horror elements to it, but it's not a horror film. It's not a comedy film either. A time travel drama, maybe, but it also has a suspense and a psychological angle to it. It's sort of a Belpuri, which actually makes Last Night at Soho a fantastic watch. In the hands of a lesser director, this would have been all over the place, but in the hands of Edgar Wright, it fits perfectly. I'd call it a modern day Hitchcockian thriller with an Edgar Wright tadka to it. The story of a young girl who moves to London to study and become a fashion designer. She finds herself in a strange scenario as she realizes that she can transport to the 1960s London when she sleeps. The movie starts off strong, but I admit in the middle it strays off a bit. There are some inconsistencies here and there, but the performance by the lead two actors ensures that the movie never feels off. Julie Christie, the Jewish girl from Jojo Rabbit, and Anna Taylor-Joy, who you obviously remember from The Queen's Gambit. Nostalgia is dangerous. It makes one glorify the good and forget the bad. This movie warns us of that. Also, people with a keen eye, it references many other horror films like Nightmare on the Elm Street, Peeping Tom and Repulsion. It's not the best Edgar Wright film, but it's highly watchable. At number 4 is Freeguy. Ryan Reynolds powers this action comedy based inside of a video game. It has his stamp all over. It's a story about Guy, a non-playing character also known as NPC, in a wildly successful open-world video game called Free City. Guy doesn't know that he's inside a video game. For him, this is the world. He wears the same outfit every day, orders the same coffee, and goes to work at the same bank. A bank that keeps getting robbed every day by players who are playing the game. Everything is awesome for the guy until the day he meets Molotov girl and he breaks his pattern. It's Truman Show meets Ready Player One inside of a Matrix kind of a concoction. Freeguy ticks all the boxes of a self-aware, pop culture heavy meta comedy. At number 3 is The Power of Dog. This Benedict Cumberbatch starrer released sometime around the end of November and now it's streaming on Netflix. Although it looks and feels like a western, but it is unlike any western film that you would have ever seen. A really dark, slow burn revenge drama which on the surface feels nothing like it. One of those films where this slow pace actually works to the advantage of the film because it gives us viewers a false sense of comfort of knowing what's going to happen. But suddenly, right in the end, a rug is pulled underneath you and you are left shocked. One of the biggest reasons for me liking this film is the performance of Benedict Cumberbatch, playing the brooding, angry rancher with dark secrets and anger issues. I'm predicting an Oscar nomination at least for him. In a list full of fast-paced films, this was the one with Thera. At number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie was like a love letter written by Marvel to all the Spidey fans. This movie was the third installment in the Spider-Man Home series and had everything that you, the fan, wanted from the Spider-Man film.
Hello, Peter.
Okay, spoiler alert. This movie had everything, from the cameo of Daredevil to having both the previous Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield together in one screen. Oh my god, when all the 3 Spider-Men swing together for the first time, the theater was roaring. One had to be there to experience that. It's just crazy the amazing connection that Marvel fans have with the Marvel Studios. They tease each other, they try and outwit each other. Every time Marvel comes up with an announcement, there are predictions made, and then based on those predictions, Marvel changes certain things. Many times the studios will give the fans the opposite of what they want, and sometimes the studio will just exceed the fans' expectations, like in the case of Endgame and No Way Home. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you should have seen this already. Which brings me to my number 1 film of the year, and this is a number 1 by a long way. Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Every now and then there comes a film which leaves you so mesmerized, so awestruck that it stays with you long after you've watched it. Denis Villeneuve's Dune is exactly that kind of film. Dune is a fictional universe created by Frank Herbert in his 1965 classic sci-fi novel with the same name. Think Game of Thrones, but set in a very distant future at an interstellar level. A futuristic subcosmic geopolitical warfare, if you may. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? Denis Villeneuve is fast becoming one of those filmmakers that I admire a lot. His films, although grand in its exterior themes, almost always have an individual personal journey at the center of it. Take any, Arrival, Blade Runner, Enemy. His movies are a perfect example of how you can achieve grandeur and scale without sacrificing good character development and nuanced storytelling. And it's not just the visual, which is stunning by the way, it's also the amazing sound design. Hans Zimmer, oh my god. Each frame is filled with attention to detail, and you can see that there's a concentrated effort by the filmmakers not to overwhelm you, the audience, with a lot of CGI dazzling. Although the source material is a sci-fi, fantasy kind of a novel, the attempt here is to keep it as believable as possible. So why take so much painstaking effort to infuse realism in a fantasy movie like this? Because when he finally throws a big CGI sandworm on you, you believe it. Because till then, everything else around it was believable. And that's good sci-fi filmmaking. For every cinema lover who missed watching this film on theaters, you have no idea what you missed. This had to be seen in the largest screen possible.
What's to become of our world?
There's something awakening in my mind.
You need to face your fears.
Come with me.
Dune will transport you to a different world. And Timothée Chalamet, how good was he? So that's it. Those were my 5 favorite English films of the year, at least from the ones that I saw. What do you guys think? Which one were your favorite English films of the year? Do mention that in the comment section. If I haven't seen it, I will watch it. If I have seen it and it's not there in the list, then I'll tell you why it's not there in the list. Also,
Happy New Year to all of you lovely people out there.